Anthony Hartwig here with a very special Coach's Corner. We got the regional edition, and we're joined by two coaches, both representing the NE8 in the regional tournament. Nick Blanche, Jeff Fishel, both joining me today to talk about their district championships, preview the regional semifinals, and just have a good time because that's what tournament time's all about. How you guys doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Obviously doing very well.
Doing really well, and want to give props to the other two teams on the YSN family that are also going to be in the regional tournament. McDonald versus Western Reserve on Thursday night in Maslin Perry. We're excited for that matchup as well. Guys, what's it like kind of being in this regional atmosphere and getting to play one more game and getting two more practices with your teams?
Go ahead, Fish.
Well, we got thrown a curveball because last week when they announced the regional sites, Cuyahoga Falls said that they weren't going to host 4 teams in one night. So they moved our game up from Wednesday to Tuesday. So that cut us off guard a little bit. But for the first time this season, we had a practice today. So we were able to keep our 2-1 in there. And anytime that you get to practice this time of year, it's a fun atmosphere and the girls enjoy it.
Yeah, we're super excited. We keep the gang together. I mean, we're family oriented, as is South Range, and just to keep us together, that's the biggest part of it. All this, like I said, going into this year, we weren't even sure if we were going to get a game in, and then a senior night and things of that sort. And now here we are, we're still playing and going into game 25 here. I mean, it just doesn't get much better than that. The excitement. And that's the best part of this, is just watching how excited the kids and their families are. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of negativity going around. So we're just excited to have something positive to share, and not only with ourselves, but our community. So grateful.
Let's talk about these district championship games. Let's start with Coach Fishel. You were throwing another curveball. We were on running point. We were talking about a man-to-man defense at Brookfield. Ken Forsyth got on the show. He was hyping up his man-to-man defense. They come out in a 2-3 zone, and all of a sudden this game gets real wild. What was the flow of that game like? And you guys battled a young, scrappy Brookfield team for the whole 4 quarters.
Yeah, young, scrappy, really good. And, we've played against zone defense for our last 9 or 10 games. So even though we weren't real sure if they'd go man or zone, the zone didn't necessarily catch us off guard. We were 0 for 10 from threes, and we had some open looks. The ball just didn't go in. And we were 13 for 29 from the foul line, and that's just not acceptable. But if we knock in a 3 or 2 and hit our foul shots the way we should, that game would have felt a lot different. But feisty, scrappy, talented, hard playing, there's a lot of good adjectives to describe Brookfield. And we knew that game was going to be a battle the way they play. And, I think the fact that we're a little bit older than them and have been in this game before helped us in the fourth quarter. We were able to make some plays, and we did hit some shots down the stretch, and, ultimately that made the difference.
Jeff, your top 2 scorers were held to 6 points in the first half. Izzy Lamparty, Lexi Giles, 6 points combined, but Mallory Vidman scored 6 points herself, 6 of your 16 points in the first half. Man, we've talked about her a couple times in your coaches' corners. Let's talk about what she meant to you guys in that district championship.
Yeah, she is probably, our unsung best player. Nobody ever really talks about what she brings, but, she usually guards our opponent's best big, and, she sets great screens. She gets good rebounds. She doesn't make mistakes, and so she's a girl that we can trust to be on the floor a lot. And, when Izzy and Lexi weren't scoring, for Mallory to have 9 yesterday in a district championship game, those are 9 huge points. We won the game by 11. And so, that was a big difference in that game. And Mallory has such a great attitude, and she accepts her role better than any player I've ever coached, probably. So awful proud, and it's cool for her to get a little bit of the limelight and the highlights shown of her on TV, because she deserves it for how hard she works and what she does behind the scenes for us.
And Nick, you have plenty of players like that in your program that do a lot of the unsung stuff, under the radar work that doesn't get noticed by anyone except the teammates and the coaching staff. What's it like as a coach for you when a player like that gets their little moment and they get to score a couple points here and there that are really important to a game?
Well, I kind of feel like, and no disrespect towards anybody on our team or anything, but I kind of feel that's everybody except Jackie on our team, because if you ask 9 out of 10 people, and that's the only name on our roster they'll be able to tell you. And she's earned that. Again, I'm not knocking her either. But I know what we have, and I know we have a lot of good kids that fill in the statistical columns, but they don't get the big numbers so that way they stand out as much as she does. But we're here for a reason, and we're here because we play together and everybody puts their little points in, their little stats for this and that. And together, when we put that all together, we have a nice little team. And like yesterday, we had 3 teams in double figures, or 3 girls in double figures, girls near 10 rebounds, a couple of those, and then everyone else, 3 assists, 4 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 offensive rebounds. We had a girl with 2 points, but she scored 2 points in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes to go in the game, and it put us up. I mean, but it's a huge basket, a huge moment, but is she going to get talked about? Absolutely not, because she had 2 points. So I kind of feel like, listening to you talk, that's pretty much our whole team this year, and that's the way we've been. And I'm okay with that, because that's what it takes. It takes everybody for it to happen. And Jackie herself will tell you, her success comes from the screens, the passes, the things of that sort that get her the looks that she needs to have the success that she does. And she's our best player, so why wouldn't she shoot the most? She should have the most points and things of that sort. But it is a team effort. But that definitely just makes me think of everybody on our team except Jackie.
Coach, when somehow you got into the South Range game, I don't know who gave you a ticket or who let you in, but you got in, and you were up there in the mezzanine watching. You get to put your analyst hat on for a little bit. Break down that game from your perspective. Some of the things you saw, South Range so well. Haven't been able to see Brookfield yet. What did you see in that game?
Just my opinion. 2 very well coached teams. I know Coach Forsyth very well. He works very hard, and his staff works very hard. On paper, it's South Range all day. There's no doubt about it. But in fairness to Brookfield, they played extremely hard. I mean, they win at Izzy, and I was curious to see how they'd match up with her. And they went extremely hard. And I also believe that South Range, it's tough to play some opponents where you're convincingly, you're winning convincingly, and you haven't had that 4-quarter game in a while, because we went through that too. We had a dry spell where we went through some games, and then we ended up seeing a tough opponent, and it was hard to get back focused because our kids, they didn't play for 4 quarters, and it's just kind of like, whoa, we haven't seen this in a while. And that does take a toll. You're playing a game, but, there's a different mentality for players when they know they have to make a play compared to, well, if I throw it out of bounds, so what? We're up by 25. You know what I mean? But I thought it was a great basketball game. I really enjoyed the heck out of it, and it was much better than I anticipated, to be honest with you. I just didn't see an answer for Izzy on the other side, but that just goes to show you what Hart can do. I mean, they were all over her, and credit to Izzy. She had a great second half, came back and battled, and so did the rest of the Raiders. And Brookfield's going to be there for them, but I thought it was good for the Raiders too going forward. I mean, they're going to be advancing now, and they got a good test going forward, so good for them.
Let's shift gears to your district championship against a Marlington team that came off a big win over West Branch for the 3rd time a season. They were very hyped up into this game, and you got into another heart-pounding, thrilling, back-and-forth kind of game where you came out on top, 2 points, 40-38. Talk about that game, what you kind of felt in it, and how your team kind of responded to some adversity.
Yeah, it was just like you said, a back-and-forth basketball game, and coach. And I'll tell you what, they're going to have some talent in the years to come. They gave us everything and then some, and it was just a great basketball game. There was nothing that we dominated them in or they dominated us in. Nobody out-coached anybody. Nobody outplayed anybody. Nobody had more heart than anybody. We just had Lady Luck on our side at the end, because that shot, I mean, it didn't miss by much. And even if we would have lost that game, I would have been super proud of my kids, because that's all I ask them to do. Give us everything you got, and if you win, great, and if you lose, As long as you can look yourself in the mirror and know I did everything I could, coach, I'm okay with it. And right there last night was a perfect example. I mean, that game was back and forth, and we busted our butt rotating on that last possession, trap, and they found her, and Jackie went running out at her. She got a great look off and just barely missed. I mean, it was right on line. But like I said, that's not what makes me appreciate or care about my team is when they win or when they lose. It's the effort that they give and the camaraderie they have with one another. And I just could not be more proud and thankful. And I'm just at this point, like I told them today, even when the season does come to an end, we can't hang our head in sadness like we underachieved. Right now, the only sadness we're going to feel is just the fact that it's over with this group being together. And I really believe that. I mean, it's been an awesome year, a great experience. And these kids and myself and my coaches, we have memories for a lifetime. And 10 years from now, they won't even remember the scores, but they're going to remember all the things that we did and the fun times that we had. And like I said, that means more to me than anything. So like I said, all thumbs up going forward here. Just grateful for another day to be with the kids.
In that game, it seemed like there were some pretty good halftime adjustments on both sides. I feel like both teams came out with a little bit of different game plan, maybe a different bit of strategy in the second half, especially the third quarter. Some offense kind of started to come alive a little bit. What was the halftime locker room like, and what kind of adjustments did you guys make from the first half to the second half?
We looked at different looks with Jackie because they were doing a nice job extending their zone out on her. So rather than having her bring the ball down the floor and keep the ball in her hands to start the plays against their zone, we started having her move from the wing or move from the dead spot and start flashing and getting her the ball in the middle and then letting her go to work there. Because when she was bringing the ball down to start all the sets and everything, it just wasn't getting us into a good flow. So she's versatile. She can work the post area and, anything you need her to do. So that's basically how we changed it up there offensively. Just had her attacking from different areas, looking to get her the ball. And then when they collapse on her, she would either have an opening to finish it, or if they collapsed really well on her, she'd be able to kick and somebody else had an opportunity. Because obviously she's the focal point. Wherever she goes, that's where the majority of the defenders go. So we just kind of use that to our advantage, and fortunate enough, it worked out for us.
Coach Fishel, it's your turn to put the analyst hat on, because I know you were watching this game. You were probably very in tune to it. When you kind of break down that game, what did you see from it, from your perspective, and how fun was it to watch?
It wasn't fun at all until the Bulldogs got the win at the end. I think, the place we were at, the girl had trouble finding what channel was on the TV. So we didn't get to tune in until there was 2 or 3 minutes into the first quarter. And, we were at a table. I didn't sit down the entire game. I was walking back and forth from the table and back. And I might have paced more during their game than I did during our game. And I'm a pacer. But, I thought Poland and Marlington are two just really talented teams. And when you get to a district championship level, you're going to see a battle like that. And it was back and forth. And, I was biting my nails and I was nervous. And it was, really at the end, I think that the Poland girls just found a way. And probably having the home court advantage helped a little bit. I know it helped us. And anytime you're in a dogfight like that, you look for a little bit of an advantage. And sometimes shots go in and sometimes they don't. And for Marlington, the shot didn't go in. And the Bulldogs got the district championship, and I finally was able to go back to enjoying my night after that.
Oh, man. Now, I know you guys were rooting for each other. The NE8 is well represented. Talk about what it means to represent that conference, both of you guys, and to kind of have two teams from the league in the regionals.
Yeah, I kind of want to know, maybe one of the YSN stat guys can look into this. The NE8 has 2 teams going to regionals, and, with Western Reserve and McDonald, obviously there's another league in this area that has 2 teams. I'd like to know how many leagues in the state of Ohio have 2 teams representing the league in regionals. And, Nick and I have talked, and it's cool for us to wave the NE8 flag and the South Range flag and the Poland flag. And we do that with a lot of pride because of the respect that we have for this league. And it's cool. People are going to be looking at brackets and say, hey, there's two teams from the same league from Mahoning County. What are they doing in Mahoning County to play basketball so well? And, we take that seriously, and it's something that we enjoy. And, it's cool that we get to be a part of it.
Yeah, there's really not much more to add to that, to be honest with you. He nailed it. And we just take pride in it. And like I said, we do take pride in representing our conference. And we have talked about that several times, and just how cool it would be to go as far as we can. And like you said, put the spotlight on the Mahoning County, because it's like, wow, they're here. Well, they're the 2 seed, and then South Range is the 1 seed, and they're both in the same conference, like Mahoning Valley. I mean, it's cool. It's cool. And like I said, I'm just grateful for another day with these kids, and all this respect, and all these neighboring coaches. Like our conference, we got a lot of good people in our conference, and they've just reached out and, hey, congratulations, happy for you, go all the way. There's not that bitterness or jealousy. I mean, we're all happy for one another. We all text each other and, hey, good job, good win. I mean, people do good things, and our conference is getting better. I mean, we got some good coaches in here, and they're making little milestones at a time for their program. I mean, Lakeview just won a conference game this year, a tournament game this year, for the first time in like 5 years. You know what I mean? And we were excited for Kevin, and TJ over at Jefferson, just doing great things over there. And I know Fish and I have talked about them, and just how much their programs have improved, and how happy we are for them, and they're happy for us. I mean, we've heard from those guys throughout our journey as well. Like I said, we had Struthers at our game last night. I mean, Bill Nieder came out, and was able to come out and catch the game. And he was just there just because, hey, 5 minutes down the road, just wanted to come wish you luck. I thought that was awesome. I mean, he doesn't have to be there. I mean, we're supposedly rivals, but it's only when you're playing on the floor. Off the floor, we're all in each other's corner and want to see each other go as far as you can. So it's nice, and I'm grateful to be a part of it.
Now, how happy are you guys that you're not in the same division, so you don't have to do what McDonald and West Reserve have to do every year, and knock each other out of the tournament?
Yeah. I like this warm water down here in Division III. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. No, I'm good with twice with South Range every year. I don't care whether we win, whether we lose. Like, twice is good enough, because, just Fish and I like to talk to each other, but we always get weird around each other when it's time to play one another. So, you always got to try and keep things under the – don't say too much. Why worry about what you're saying or who's doing what? Like, now it's just easy. You sit back, and I sit home and wave the Raider flag. Go Raiders, go all the way. And I'm cheering them on till the end. And like I said, I'm just excited they have this opportunity this year. And I've said this before. I've told each of you off the air, like, if we didn't have a basketball season this year, I'd be sick for my seniors especially, but I'd really be sick for the Raiders as well, because I'm not surprised at the success they're having. And last year they got a taste of it. And I think this year, that's going to fuel their fire. So, my seniors, of course, would be the biggest headache for me for not having a year, but Raiders would have been right there, because you don't get groups like this very often. So I'm grateful that they're able to keep rolling.
Let's talk about these venues that you guys get to play in. The atmosphere is a little bit different in regionals. Poland, you guys play in Barberton, the Purple Palace, as we like to call it. And Fish, you guys get to play in kind of an old style wooden bleachers, Cuyahoga Falls double deck gym. That's really cramped, but it gets the same atmosphere too. What are these atmospheres like? You've both been there in the recent past, and what's it feel like to get back?
Go ahead, Nick.
Purple Palace is we love it. I mean, and I'm not speaking like I've been there all the time. We've been there once, but I'll tell you what, it left a lasting impression. We got to go there, and we won against Buchtel, and then we got to go back and play St. V's, barn burner. But just the venue itself is just, it's elite. The history that they have posted around there, their showcases, and you walk around that place, and it's just, wow, all this goes on up here. They've got their program win totals and all that on the boards up there on the walls. I mean, it's really cool, and it's different because we're not accustomed to it here. It's something different than what we have in our area. So we're excited and that's one long bus trip that we actually enjoy. So we get on that bus and we take that journey and we know where we're going, and locker rooms are even cool. I mean, they got big locker rooms, all kinds of trainer stations. I mean, we're just excited. And like I said, it's going to be fun. It's all smiles from here, no matter what happens.
Yeah, Cuyahoga Falls, like you said, Anthony, is an older gym, and Izzy and Bree got to start in the game here their freshman year, and then it was nice last year that we were able to beat champion and come back for the regional final. So for a lot of our players, this is going to be their third or fourth game there, and I'm hoping that gives us an opportunity. But that gym with the old wood that's in there gets loud real easy. And last year, and rightfully so, the regional final game was the loudest, obviously, that I've ever coached a game in. And this show will be a little bit different with limited ticket sales, but we know Raider Nation is going to show up. They've been so supportive through this run for us. And got to go back in time a little bit. And I got to remember to put chalk in my bag because it's a chalkboard in the locker room and not a whiteboard. So I'll be writing with chalk, which isn't my favorite. But, when you get to do that in this level of game, I'll write with anything. We'll go outside and write in the snow if we have to.
That's great. Now let's break down these opponents you guys got. We'll start with you, Jeff. You guys are playing Warrensville Heights. They upset Norwayne in their district championship game to get here. I know you've probably studied them a little bit. Tell us a little bit about Warrensville Heights and what the Raiders should expect come Tuesday night.
Well, I know Norwayne is really good, but I'm not sure that was an upset. Warrensville Heights are a little bit under the radar. They didn't play that many games this year. They're one of the teams that didn't start out in December, so didn't know a lot about them. I think when the seedings were out, and I think they were the 4th seed, and honestly, if they'd have played a full season, probably would have been a little bit higher seed. They're super athletic. They play really fast. Their speed's going to give us a lot of challenges, and we're going to have to make sure that we take care of the boards because they're taller than us. They're very physical underneath. So we've got a long list of things that we've got to make sure we take care of if we want to find ourselves in that game in the fourth quarter, because they're going to present some challenges that are going to be difficult just matchup wise for us. And we're going to, had a good night of practice tonight, and we're going to really break some things down tomorrow night and make sure that the plan we have in place is what we want, and the girls understand that. And then they'll be ready to execute it. Our girls have been great at that type of thing. So excited for the opportunity that's before us. And it's going to be a good battle because that's a real good basketball team we're going to play.
Nick, You guys got Perry in this round. They beat Salem on just a magical buzzer beater that's got to give them a lot of momentum heading into this round. I'm sure you've watched film on the Pirates. Talk about Perry, the 1 seed in this super district, and what to expect from Perry.
Yeah, I mean, and there you go. We talk about just luck of the draw. I mean, last night, my heart breaks for Salem and Coach Hamilton. And like I said, it's great to be on the good side of that, but it's crippling to be on the other side of that. I mean, we were there last year in the district final and fell just short by a point, and I know the toll it took on us, and I think that was more traumatic than that. But they'll bounce back eventually and, get back there, I think, next year. She's doing a great job over there. So my hat's off to Salem and Coach Hamilton. But as far as Perry goes, just athletic, very aggressive defensively. They shoot the lights out of the gym. They got a solid post player underneath that we're going to have to battle with. But, long shots, long rebounds. So we'll see what happens. We got to make sure we do our part on the glass and keep a hand in their face, because I'll tell you, if we give them open looks, they're going to bury them all day long. But they jumped out 14-0 yesterday on Salem at the end of the first quarter. And once Salem settled down, they did some things to them in the second half, battled back. They had a 2-point lead, and we saw what happened there at the end, like I said. So it's exciting for them. I'm sure they have the momentum, obviously, and they're feeling really good about themselves, and that's good. I think everybody at this stage does. But I think it's going to be a great basketball game again. You're going to see a very comparable game to our last 2 games that you've seen, Anthony, and I think another 4-quarter game, and we're going to be on a bigger floor with portable hoops, and believe it or not, that's a different look because there's more depth. Like in high school gyms, most of the time the hoop is like right up against the wall or pretty close to it. Up at Barberton, they got those portable NBA hoops, and then they got more bleachers that are further away from there. So the depth is a little bit different, different kind of hoop. So, I mean, there's nothing around here for us to practice like that with. So, once they get on there, they'll have 20 minutes to get used to it, and then we go from there.
How does that depth perception at Barberton compare to, say, Struthers or maybe Ursuline, or even Hubbard has bleachers behind the hoop? Not the portable hoop, but it's still far off the wall. Does that compare at all, or is it even a different animal than those gyms?
Yeah, it's a little close, and this year might not be as bad, like Fish said, with the different ticket sales. Like each team at Barberton gets 150 tickets, we were just told today. So that's going to be 300 people there. When we played there a few years ago, it was packed. So, I mean, there were people all the way around the gym screaming, yelling, stomping their feet, making noise. 300 people, that's still a decent amount, but it's not going to be as loud. So maybe it won't be as different, but I do know the depth in those kind of gyms and the portable hoops, they are different. And when you go full tilt in for a layup, this time there's, something there that you may run into and fall down on, so you got to look into that too. So very little different. I mean, again, we're not making excuses. I'm just saying Perry's got to do the same thing, but it is different from what we're accustomed to. I know that.
Now, you guys have 2 days to prepare for this game. You have today's practice, which you guys both have already had. Tomorrow's practice, and you got to go. But you also just played a really tough game, both of you, on Saturday. How do you balance trying to regroup from that, trying to, recuperate your bodies, but also you got to go and get ready in 2 days for a really tough regional semifinal?
What we did was today we put in our game plan, and we took it easy because some of our girls flat out told us, like, Coach, I'm beat up. So, and we understand that. Like, we saw the games they've been in, and again, I normally would have today off, but when you only have 2 days, you don't have a choice. I mean, we can't give them a day off. There's not enough time. So we went light today, went for about 90 minutes and saved legs. Like, when we got to the point, and even if there was a few minutes left in that particular segment, moving on, I mean, we gave extra reps, and sometimes had our JV kids walking through things just so the varsity could stand there and watch it. Because again, we had ice packs on today, trainer working. I mean, it is what it is right now at this time of year. But like I told them, Perry is on the same time clock we are. They played last night. They had another grueling game just like we did. And, they have just as much time to prepare as we do. So it is what it is. We're going to make the most of it and deal with the adversity that's been this whole entire season. So we're happy to be there and going to make the most of it.
Basically the same. We went for an hour, and we got them running a little bit early just to get that lactic acid out of their bodies a little bit and just get them going. And then we went through the game plan and basically took it easy, and they'll get a good night's sleep tonight, and tomorrow will be some film. And again, it won't be a real physical practice tomorrow, but this time of year, and the Poland girls are the same way. Tuesday night's going to roll around, and they're going to show up to play. They're excited for this game. It's a great opportunity. And when you walk in that gym, when they walk in Barberton and we walk up in Cuyahoga Falls, you're going to feel great. The aches and pains are going to be gone, and the adrenaline is going to kick in, and we're going to play a good 32 minutes of basketball.
All right, guys, good luck in the regional semifinals. And we definitely hope that you guys both earn another episode of Coach's Corner. We love talking to you, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks for having us.
It's been fun.